beautiful pearls. How are you? I hope everyone had a great weekend. I did, that's for sure. And the weekends are always enjoyable during the summer. Now that the summer has started, well, it started a while back for us here in Dubai. It's already very, very hot. Today we are going to talk about a very, very, very important topic in the world of spiritual or personal or any kind of awakening that you go through is related to this topic mainly. And the topic for today is energy. So we hear a lot about energy. We hear about energy in the physical world, and we also hear about energy in the metaphysical world. Now, the energy in the physical world is what is known as the force that causes things to move. So this is basically the definition of energy. But energy for us, people who are on their awakening journey, or people who are who work with energy, like people who do yoga, like people who do Reiki, Feng Shui, any other modality that is related to or supported to healing people in their awakening path, is basically working with a lot of the energy that we have. And we have a lot of it. Believe me, people, we do. We always hear, remember, I think last week or the week before, I was talking about also people having positive energies and people having negative energies, and whether we should keep them in our lives or not, the people who have negative energies. And I also talked about how it could be possible for us to do this, some kind of a discernment between us and people who have negative energies, so they don't really affect us, but they are there in our life, but we protect ourselves from being affected by their energies. And today I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, but first things first is the kind of energy that I'm talking about. What is that energy that I'm talking about? This energy basically is everything that you radiate as a person. It's not something really physical. It's not something that you can really touch, but it is there all around you. It's basically, it's like waves that you spread in your surrounding or in your presence, if I may say. I like to compare it, if I am to visualize energy and the body, or how energy is related to my body, my three-dimensional body. If I'm to think about it, or if I am to compare it to something so that I can, if I want to visualize it, I would compare it to when you throw a stone in the water and this stone starts making kind of waves that go outwards. This stone is you, the physical you. And those waves are the energy that your body and your soul and your spirit and your brain emits from your physical presence. A lot of people call it aura as well. It's like your aura, your surrounding. So this is all energy, and it's not something that you can physically touch, but it is definitely something that you can sense about people. And that's when we talk about people with negative energies or people with positive energies. So these two kinds of people are like the top kinds, but energy is more than this. If we are to deep dive inside what energy is in every person of us, our energy is like it's a combination of two things. It's a combination of two energies, actually, not things. It's a combination of a masculine energy and a feminine energy. When we talk about masculine and feminine energy, we're not talking about male or female. We're talking about specific traits that physically or not physically but emotionally and actually, like with our actions, they manifest themselves, these energies, these two different energies that every person of us holds. So every person of us is on a spectrum when it comes to energy. We either have we tend to have a high feminine energy, or we tend to have a high masculine energy. We call it our feminine and our masculine. And they are both good. And like everything in the world, they are at their best when they are balanced. Any of these two energies, if it becomes a little bit heavier on one side, then it becomes negative, if I may say. So it's not just like our negative energies are not only when someone is having a bad day or someone is going through a bad emotions or wrong emotions or negative emotions, and someone with constructive day or a good day is having a good energy, or the good energy will reflect that. These are like the known energies, or the energies that everybody talks about, the energies that whether you are on an awakening journey or whether you're just any other person, everybody knows about someone having he's having a good energy or he's having a bad energy. I can feel or I can sense this person's energy is good, like their presence is there, it's amazing, and it's always there, and that person's always emitting good vibes, we call them. And then you have the on the other side of that spectrum, you have the negative energy. So the person who's always down, and they are living in blame, they are living in resentment all the time. They have they're always feeling like disgusted, or they're like frowning most of the time. So these are the negative energy related people. And it's like, when you wake up with a positive energy, like you're self-loving, you're smiling, you have a lot of gratitude, you emit a lot of love and a lot of happiness and joy, then by being like this, you consequently will have most probably a very good day. Obviously, unless something triggers you during the day and then your energy shifts, right? And then if you are waking up with a lot of resentment and a lot of blame and guilt and frowning and all, you will probably have a bad day, and hopefully something good happens during your day, and your energy shifts. Now I'll give you a tip of how you can work with this kind of energy before I move to talking more about the masculine and the feminine energies. So let's say, for example, I wake up in the morning and I'm a positive energy person by nature, thank God. So this, at least from that perspective, I'm very happy. So I wake up in the morning, I say my gratitudes, I look at myself in the mirror and I praise myself, and I'm laughing, I'm smiling. I pet my dog, I pet my cats. I'm always like very cheerful. So, and let's say on any given morning, let's say I'm meeting a friend for a coffee, okay? And this friend is waking up with, a lot of resentments and unhappy thoughts, and feeling, like nothing is going right for them. So their energy is obviously very negative and very down. Now, what happens if when we meet, not if we are going to meet. So we're going for a coffee, right? And we go and we meet up. Now there are three scenarios here. The first scenario is my energy that is a really, really very high vibrational and very positive and very jolly. If it's like really, really very high and I am someone who can emit this energy and kind of make it contagious, I will be able to bring my friend's energy and my friend's vibrations up just by being that energy representation in my presence. I don't really have to do much or talk much to that friend of mine and explain or go through like the extra mile and maybe make them feel more comfortable. Sometimes when you have the high vibration of very positive energy, you don't really need to talk much. And this is why people with high vibrations and high energies, you tend to find that they have lots of people around them, that they have many friends, they have people who come to them just to have fun, not necessarily to talk and discuss like major things or serious stuff. By only being who they are, by only being in that positive energy, that high vibrational state, their presence helps other people who are maybe at a lower vibrational state, or their energy is diminished or a little bit more to the negative side, right? So this is the first scenario. By having such a high vibration and such a positive energy, I could pick my friend's energy up and lift him or her up, and then we are starting our day on a higher vibrational note, right? So this is the first option, or the first scenario. The second scenario, like we meet up and that person's energy is so negative and so strong, and my energy is not protected, and I'll talk about this in a bit. So if that person's energy is very, very strong, negatively, right? But it's strong, and mine is okay but unprotected, that person will be able to drain my energy and bring my vibrations down. And this is why when you are on your awakening journey and when you start learning these things, it's very important that you always protect your energy, that you always protect your space. And when I say you always protect your space, there are lots of ways of doing this. I mean, this is something that I also teach in my program. But there's a very simple way of doing it, is just by accepting in your mind, in your conscious mind, and affirming to your conscious mind that you are protected. You can just simply say, I am protected from any negative energy around me. So if you only state that to your conscious mind, and your subconscious mind consequently will be hearing that thought and acknowledging that thought, you will put yourself in a protective space. There are more ways to protect yourself, obviously, but this is like the simplest and the fastest one that you can use, just by using an affirmation to your mind, saying that you are protected, saying that your vibration is so high that it will be always very protected, right? So simple affirmations that can help you protect your vibration and your aura, if I can use the term here, right? So this is the second scenario. If you protect yourself this way, that person, no matter how low their vibration is, They won't be able to bring your vibration down. They won't be able to drain you. However, in this situation, because you're not really that protected, except with a very simple affirmation, maybe you won't be able to bring them up to your vibration. Maybe you won't be able to bring them up and lift them up from their negative state, right? So this is the second scenario. Now the third scenario is that you are both very strong with your energies, whether you are in a negative or a positive energy. So if I am having a very strong positive energy, and if I'm completely protected, and my friend is having a really, really negative energy, and his or her negative energy or vibration is really so low and it's very heavy, and they are so strong too, so kind of protected as well, I won't be able to lift them up, and they won't be able to drain my energy. So in that scenario, no one will affect the other, right? And no one will be able to, I won't be able to help, right? And they won't be able to receive any help from me, because their energy, their negativity is so heavy to the point that they are not allowing any support or any energetical help from my side. Even if I don't talk, I can always help, or you or anyone, you can always help just by being on a high vibration. You know, sometimes when people go into a room, if you are if you're sitting in a place, and sometimes people come into that space and you can feel their presence. You can feel it. It's just so strong to a point that it cannot be ignored. And then you just look. There's nothing very extraordinary about that person. They're just the energy that they are emitting, the energy, I mean, the power, let's call it power. The power that they are emitting as soon as they enter into that space is so great to the point that you cannot but lift your head and look at who that person is. Oh my God, you know? So this is someone who has a really, really very high vibrational energy. And sometimes people who have very low vibrational energy can have the same effect, by the way, if they are coming into a room and they're so low in their vibration. Sometimes people who are not very protected in their own space or in their own aura can be affected by the presence of someone like that. Even if they're still not talking or anything, they will feel it. You will feel that there is something like really low vibrationally. Even if your energy is high, you will feel that vibration. It will not affect you. But if your energy is already low and you are not really protected, and a low vibration energy person comes with a low vibration, like a really heavy one, they will definitely affect you as well. And you will feel it. I mean, start doing these exercises when you go out, when you are with a lot of people, or even when you are on one-on-one with other people. Start sensing these things. Start understanding how high their vibration is or how low their vibration is. What kind of energy do they have? And are they able to spread that energy around, be it high vibrational or low vibrational? Start, doing these exercises, and this will keep you interested and alert, and you will start, wanting to know more about how things are happening and with people and what is happening with these people, right? So this is what I have to say today about the positive and the negative energy. The other focus today is going to be on the one energy spectrum, if you want, that every single one of us has, which is the energy that is guiding us, the energy that is supporting us through our lives, the energy that is the powerhouse of our being, the powerhouse of our soul, the powerhouse of our whole existence is our energy. When the energy goes, we're not here anymore, right? So, before I move to that, just a quick note that when you are in any kind of energy, any kind, whether it's a high vibration or a low vibration energy, what are the main causes that affect your energy? Basically, there are three things that I find really, especially when you are on a high vibrational level and then your energy drops. The three main things that I've noticed are obviously people. So the people that are around us, if their energy is low, their vibrations are low, their energy is negative, they might affect you, just like I said in the example earlier. Situations that we are put through during the day or during our life, throughout our life, the situations that we go through are also triggers for our energies, be it in a positive or in a negative way. And the third thing that I find really very impactful are news. We live in the world of social media now, and there's nothing that is really like hidden, or nothing comes to us as a surprise anymore, because everything is out there. No matter how we move, like if we look at our desktop or our screen, we will find news coming up. If we look at our phone, we will find news coming up. If we look at our digital watches, we also have news coming up. And unfortunately, there are no news out there, or there are no news channels, let's put it this way, that spread positive news. So all the news that we watch, or all the news that come our way, are mainly negative news. So obviously this news is going to put us down. This news is going to drain our energy if we are not protective, or if we do not have this kind of discernment, this kind of barrier that allows us to stay in our own vibrations, especially if they are high vibrations. So, for example, for me, I stopped watching the news a long time ago. And I know about things happening around me from people talking around me. I don't really go and look for the news, or I don't just watch anything that has that is news related. I know this could sound like detachment, but it's not. It's just me choosing to elevate my own vibrations and love myself enough not to let anything external affect me, especially if it's external. Even if I watch the news today, and I learned this the hard way, I tell you. Last year, when unfortunately we had the blast in Lebanon, in Beirut, this blast kept me, like, I was following the news every day for 2 months. And I don't even live in Lebanon anymore. I haven't been living in Lebanon for the past 22 years. Last year for the past 21 years. But that just one single event for 2 months kept my energy so low, to the point at the end I was thinking, so how am I helping if my energy is so low? How am I helping the situation in my own country, in my own city, with my own people? How can I lift them up, and how can I help the situation if my own energy is always drained? So when I asked myself that question, I was like, I can't. I have to elevate my energy, and I have to get out this situation and not let it affect me, so that I can actually give the help that I know I can give, especially even with my energy, even with a simple act of maybe calling a friend and saying nice and uplifting words sometimes, you know, or even, I don't know, posting something on social media, since now the social media is the trend. Post something that can lift people up, something that can bring people's energies up, instead of me sitting in front of the TV just watching and getting drained and drained and drained more and more. So when I consciously understood that, oh my God, this is what's happening to me, I stopped watching the news. And like literally on that same night, my energy lifted back up. It was so bad to the point that even when I was sleeping, I wasn't able to sleep. This is how bad it is when you let your energy or other or external factors really affect your own energy and bring you down. I mean, it's amazing if you can let external factors affect your energy in a positive way. So, for example, when we talk about people, it's very good to have people who, on their own, have always this positivity and they radiate this positive energy all the time. So, having people like this in your life obviously is something that is highly recommended, and it's something that will bring more positivity to your own life, right? So this will boost you, this will give you more energy and more you will feel happier and on a higher vibration, right? So bringing positive energy, positive people to your life is something that you can do to boost your energy. I find dancing helps a lot, and because I sing as well, so I also find singing a very helpful tool to bring my own energy up. And I'm sure every one of us have got their own things that they know can bring their vibrations up and can bring their energies up. Like, I find dancing very helpful. Singing, obviously, for me is very helpful. Some people find exercising is very helpful. You know, going to the gym or maybe playing some sort of a sports game. You know, but it's not the going to the gym because I want to make muscles and I want to be like, you know, macho, or for a lady just because she wants to tone and lose weight or stuff like that. No, just going to the gym to feel like your cells are dancing, like your whole body is dancing, your whole body is vibrating higher. And this is what I mean by, you know, some people would go to the gym just to raise their vibrations. Some people would go out for a run. Some people do yoga, although yoga is like a lot of relaxation and everything. However, it definitely boosts your energy up, and it definitely puts you on a higher vibrational, energetically, on a higher vibration. You can also choose to, you know, some people like to work around the house. Some people like painting. Some people like writing, you know. So there are lots of things that you can do to boost your energy, as long as you know that your energy is supporting you and it's helping you, and it is also guiding you to have a higher vibrational life in general, and to come from a positive place. Once you know that, you will find all the possible ways. I mean, nobody wants to willingly feel bad or have bad energy all the time. Nobody wants to, maybe willingly is not the right word, maybe consciously is the right word. So nobody consciously really wants to be in a low vibrational state or in a bad energy state or in a negative energy state, right? Having said that, now I'm going to move to the part that is talking about the two different spectrums of energies within every single person. So we talk a lot about people being in their feminine or people being in their masculine. And when I say people, I really mean people. I don't mean men are in their masculine and women are in their feminine. That's not it. Every one of us, every person of us has got both energies. And these two energies, they're very important for every single person of us. And the balance, to have them balanced in our personality, in our persona, in our energy, right, in our soul, is the best way to be by having them balanced. So let me tell you a little bit more about what feminine energy is, and I'll also give you some examples about me and where I found myself at one point in time, and I was like literally very shocked. So what is the feminine? The feminine energy is always in the being mode. So when you are in your feminine, let's say, if you are in your feminine, you are a person who is very intuitive to start with. So the feminine has got really, really high intuition. And the feminine is always internal. It's emotional, it's internal, it's receiving all the time. And it's nurturing as well. So we receive as feminine and we nurture, we give, right? We give from a nurture perspective. And then we are expressive as feminine. When we talk, and we're not talking about the feminine, like the feminine movement, okay? We're talking about the feminine energy, the feminine aspects of our characters, of our beings, okay? Feminine is vulnerable, is sensitive, and is also expressive, and it's compassionate, right? And it's based a lot on feeling. So the feminine is based a lot on feeling and on understanding. Now, all these traits that I've just mentioned are traits of a balanced feminine, right? So a balanced feminine is all of these traits. When this feminine goes out of balance, this is where that person becomes powerless. This is where that person becomes victimizing. So they're always referring themselves as the victim, right? This is where that person becomes manipulative. So if a woman has a wounded feminine, she starts manipulating people. And the same applies to a man. So if a man has a wounded feminine, he will also be manipulative. He will also be manipulating people, okay? Because as I said, men and women both have both energies, both have both traits in their beings, all right? A demanding feminine is a wounded feminine, is not the right feminine. The right feminine is someone who is compassionate, is someone who is understanding, not someone who is demanding, not someone who plays the role of the mother or who plays the role of the victim or who is over caring and always pleasing others. Now, this is where I come. So when I started working on myself, I had always thought that I was in my masculine energy. And I was. But what I did not know is that I was also always in my wounded feminine, right? So I was always playing the victim. I was always over nurturing. So if I'd meet a man in my life, I would always be this protective mother, this person who would always be like, what do you want? What can I give you? How can I make you feel better? And it's always me being like the mother for that person, for that man. And for those of us who want to have amazing relationships with their partners, we cannot mother our partners or father them, as a matter of fact. Even if you are a man and if you are mothering your partner, trust me, at one point in time she will go, she will leave, she will not accept it if she doesn't speak up. And the same thing applies for a woman. If she's mothering her partner, or if she's always playing the victim in the relationship, that relationship's not going to last. That powerlessness will never get you anywhere. It will actually get you to places where you don't want to be. It will get you to places, but not the places where you want to be. It will not get you to the positive outcomes that you want to have. So always remember to ask yourself, how am I acting? What am I doing? How is my energy feeling? Am I following my intuition? Like, once I was told that I have a very, very strong intuition, but I never used to follow it. And I always knew that my intuition was very high. And I always knew that my intuition was always on point. However, I always used to give people and situations the benefit of the doubt. But every single time I came back to the same place, being disappointed and thinking that if only I had followed my intuition, because my intuition was guiding me in the right way, right? So my feminine was very strong when it came to my intuition, but I was very powerless. So it was also wounded from that perspective that I was not following my intuition. And I became that victim. I became that people pleaser. Up to not too long ago, I was always aiming to please others. It was always something that I wanted to do. Like, how can I please people? Like, I want to be that person who helps everyone, who pleases everyone, who makes everybody happy. But did that make me happy? If it was making me happy, then I would keep it. And I did keep it. At so many instances, I am still that person who wants to please others because it was making me happy, not because I was coming from my wounded feminine, right? But unlike in the relationship side of things, especially when we're talking about relationship between like partners, right? Woman and a man, like a romantic relationship. In my romantic relationships, I was always the wounded feminine. Not anymore. I was. Why not anymore? Because I understood it, because I saw it and I firsthand experienced it, and now I know how to fix it. Now I know how to elevate my energy, and now I know how to balance my feminine energy and make sure that I am not leading my life from a wounded feminine. Now the same thing applies to the masculine. I realized also I was very much in my masculine energy. And the masculine is all about doing. It's all about focus. It's all about planning. It's all about giving. It's all about being external. It's all about stability. It's all about achieving and confidence and focus and bravery and strength. All of these are traits that I realized I was living in those traits, especially when it came to my work. Now, why? Why did I need to be in that masculine when it came to my work? You know, in our society, and not just our society, I mean, I see this in all the societies, especially if they are still living in the old age eras. So a woman is always looked at, you know, someone who is always, but I would say a lot of time, and especially in our societies, a woman is weak, and a woman's place is in the house. A woman's place is to carry and bring children to life, and then raise them, and prepare food and take care of the house. This is the what the woman is supposed to do. So because this is how women have been perceived throughout ages, all right, even in our DNA now, it's formed that we have to be that strong person to be able to, especially on the work front, to be able to rise up to the same level of the men who are leading in that aspect when it comes to business and when it comes to work. So women start thinking, or start behaving, not thinking, they start behaving in their masculine, and their masculine is strong, and their masculine is focused, and is logical, and is determined, and is one task. Just one task. We sit, we talk, we discuss, we finish, and then we deliver, and then we move, right? The feminine is multitasking all the time. So when you are in your masculine, you're confident, you're strong, you're focused, right? You are goal oriented. You know what you want, and you put that goal, and you go and get it. This is when you are in your masculine. And a woman can be in her masculine as well as a man, and a woman can be in her feminine as well as a man. So a man as well can be in his feminine. He can be giving, he can be receiving, he can be internal, he can be compassionate, he can be intuitive as well. And he can be vulnerable, he can be expressive, he can be feeling. Although in our society, again, men have been trained and have been raised in a way telling them that it's not okay for a man to cry, or it's not okay, like, not a man, let's say a boy. So it starts when you are kids, and this is how they raise you, that it's not okay, you are strong, you should not be crying. Who said that crying is not a sign of strength? Who said that? Who decided that crying, for example, is a sign of weakness? Who decided that expressing your feeling is a sign of weakness? Who gave us those definitions? Who decided on our behalf? We can choose, as souls, as spirits on this earth, as beings on this earth, as humans, we can choose not to be following those terms, or not to be following those rules that basically society imposed on us and the group consciousness imposed on us. It's not who we are. So if we are to have a balanced feminine, let's start with the masculine, since I'm talking about the masculine. If the masculine is not balanced, or if the masculine is wounded, what does the masculine do? So imagine the masculine is always giving, is always logical, is always strong, is always a planner, is always brave, and he has an injured or a wounded masculine. This strength becomes an aggression. So that masculine, the wounded masculine, becomes aggressive. The wounded masculine is rigid, is dominant, so they want to control, they want to dominate, they want to have the last say, they become more competitive in a negative way. It's good to be competitive somehow, but not when the whole idea of your being is around competing and is about winning, but usually doing everything in the wrong way just to win. So kind of like becoming Machiavellic, like the end justifies the means. No. So this is like when you are a wounded masculine, you become confrontational, you become unstable, you scream, you shout, you become aggressive, you become abusive even sometimes. All right? Like this is like a really, really wounded masculine. You become arrogant. Instead of being brave and diligent and goal-oriented and driven, you become arrogant. So your competition becomes like on another level, right? And then a wounded masculine always puts other people down. It's like they're on a mission, to put other people down. So this is when they are in their wounded masculine. Whether they are women or men, again, I cannot stress this enough. This is for both genders. It's not for one gender, okay? Now, a balanced masculine is all the beautiful traits of the masculine with a tad pinch of feminine. So basically, it's the giving, it's the logical, it's the planner, it's the focused, it's the goal-oriented, it's the diligent, it's the driven, it's the strong, with a tad beating of expression, of nurturing, of feeling, and of compassion. So it's like you're cooking and you put a pinch of salt on your food so that the food tastes perfect. And this is what brings your masculine to its balance, and it becomes a balanced masculine. And this is what every person in the world wants to have, a balanced masculine. The balanced feminine, on the other side, is all the traits of the feminine, the balanced feminine, or the good feminine, not the wounded feminine. So the receiving, the nurturing, the internal, the compassionate, the multitasker, the one who feels, the one who understands, with a little bit of focus, with a little bit of logic, with a little bit of expression externally instead of internally, with a little bit of bravery, stability, and a drive. And this makes this person's feminine balanced. Now, the best thing to have is both masculine and feminine being balanced together. And when they are, the result of that is basically being in harmony. It's being so in sync internally within yourself that you are able to be like, so, how do I say it, zen? I find it brings a lot of calmness and serenity and balance. Like, balance is the best word, because it's definitely what it is. When you are balancing both energies within you, the masculine and the feminine, this balance, it brings you prosperity. It helps you when you are so balanced. It helps you even start to manifest things in your life. When you are in that balance, because you are so uplifted and because your energy or your vibration is so high, and you understand these two powers that you have, and you are harnessing them in the right way, you are using them and utilizing them in the right way, in the best way that is the right way for you, you will start being able to manifest anything that you want in your life. It becomes so easy. It becomes so easy for you or anyone to just sit there and, dream of things and want things or desire things enough. When they are coming from this high vibration, those desires will be will be picked up by the universe, and will be picked up by all the energy fields that are around us. And these energy fields will start working for us, for our benefit. So this is why having this balance in everything that we do, not just in our feminine and masculine, not just in our positive and negative energies, in everything that we do in our life, balance is a really, really important key word to have. Balancing your positive and your negative. Actually, try not to have negative, but you know, you know what I mean. But balancing your feminine and your masculine, it will bring you to that state of abundance, that state of prosperity, that state of magnetism. You become magnetic. Literally, you become magnetic. You start attracting things around you. And especially like on all levels, if you are working, let's say you are working, and previously, like for example for me, when I was working, I was always in my masculine, and it was very difficult that to be that feminine, or to use that feminine, like being a little bit caring, a little bit more expressive, a little bit vulnerable, because of how perception is from the outside world for a woman in the task force, right, in the workforce. Although I have my own business and I work for multinationals, I mean these are my customers, but yet it's very much male driven. So I had to be in my masculine to be able to how do you say it, pick it up, or just be at the same level, let's say. But now I realize that if I didn't have my feminine with me in those times when I'm working with my clients, my delivery would be completely just very rigid and I work in events, right? I used to do, I still do, but I work in events for people. So if there is no feminine in that kind of work, the result would be very rigid and would be very far away from artistic, and would be very like 1 + 1 = 2, right? Balancing the two means that, as professional as it is, and as goal-oriented or as driven as it should be, it also had that tad of artistic, that little bit of compassion, that little bit of feeling that I added to my work, that made my work always looked at differently by my client. Not because I'm just here and following rules and regulations and this is it and we do it and we deliver and bravo, everybody's happy. No, I still have those rules and regulations that I have to follow, but I do it in a way with a bit of arts and a bit of touch, like a personal touch, a personal feminine touch, if I can call it like that, to give it a different taste for my clients. And this is exactly how I was balancing my masculine and my feminine to be delivered, for my projects to be delivered in that specific way, with that specific balance. So having said that, this is what I wanted to talk to you about today, about the different energies that we hold. Now, like I said at the beginning, if we come from, if we have a wounded feminine or a wounded masculine, there are lots of ways to clear those wounds and to get over those wounds and to rise in our balanced feminine and our balanced masculine, and also to balance the two together in our one person. There are so many different ways to help us do this, and I also teach this in my program, but I'll just give you a couple of things that you can start doing even today. You can start meditating. There are lots of meditations that can help you with balancing your feminine and your masculine. Doing yoga is very, very helpful for both, for the feminine and the masculine to balance. Doing yoga puts you in a very serene and calm state when you can think of things in a different way. The way you look at things becomes different. So yoga is another thing that you can do. And what I also want you to try and start doing, like I said when I was talking about having positive and negative energy, and when people come in and you can feel their energies, start looking at yourself, at your own life. And I will always tell you this. Every time I'm going to have a life, I'm going to tell you to start thinking about how you are doing things, how you are living your life, how you are, how these things that I'm talking about are reflected in your life. Do you have them? Are they there? Are they not there? How do you see them playing in your life? So I would highly recommend that you start looking at your own life and looking at your own character, at your own actions and thoughts and emotions, and start understanding where you fall on that spectrum. Are you in your feminine energy, or are you in your masculine energy, or are you maybe in the middle? Maybe you are already balanced, but you never thought about it, and you never looked at it, and you never thought, oh, let me check, am I in my feminine or in my masculine? So do this exercise. Try to figure yourself out. Figure out where you are on that spectrum. And if you find that you have a wounded feminine or a wounded masculine, and you really want to work on that, get in touch with me. I'm sure I will be able to help. But start working on getting out of those wounded feminine or masculine if you have them. And I've noticed in my humble life and my humble experience, I've noticed that we all have wounds from our feminine and our masculine, and these wounds, they start mainly with us when we are kids, because of how we are brought up and because of how we looked at our mothers and our fathers. And the wounded masculine mainly can start with how we associate ourselves with our fathers, and the wounded feminine also can start with how we associate ourselves with our mothers. So start asking these questions, start remembering things about you, and start noticing things about your life and your own actions and your own feelings and your own emotions. And from there you will be able to know where you are, whether you're in your feminine or in your masculine, and how you want to fix that if there is something to be fixed, and whether you want them to be balanced, which is the best state that you can be in, having them balanced. So I highly recommend that you would want that or you would desire that, hopefully. And start asking where you want to go next. Do you want to stay where you are, or do you want to move forward? And if you want to move forward, how can you do that? What are the things that can help you, especially when we're talking about energies? Having said that, I'm going to wish you an amazing night and a great week ahead. Night in Dubai, morning and day in other places in the world, and in some places it's already Tuesday, by the way. So I wish you a great week ahead, and I will see you again next Monday. And for now, I'm gonna leave you with my usual ciao ciao.